Ladies and gentlemen, you're once again welcome to the Kingdoms podcast. And today I have with me a very special guest. This is an idol in the Nigerian movie industry, somebody we looked up to, while growing up, gracing our screens. Please make welcome with me an award winning producer, film director, and actor, Funsho Adeolu. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on board. How are you doing today, sir?
My pleasure. I'm doing very good. How are you, sir?
I am good. I cannot complain. I'm glad to have you on board. The excitement on my face is screaming. Oh, so really, congratulations on winning, the recognition award at the 11th Media Global Concept, and so many awards you've won in the course of your career. uh, and you are indeed, a legend. Something interesting about this man is, you're one of the icons of, the Yoruba race generally, because on Wikipedia, when you check out famous Yoruba people, your name is on that, illustrious list, and we're very, very proud of you, sir. We're very proud
We
of you.
thank we thank
So, the public see you as one thing, but I know that you see yourself as something. So, how would you describe yourself as a person?
Well, I'm just a normal human being that, if not for being an actor, I would just be somebody who is very quiet. I like to be Christianly minded all the time. I'm a
Mm,
family man and I'm down to earth. And most especially, importantly, I try to be very, very humble. I try.
mm.
I try.
Oh wow, that's a fantastic one. So, in order to understand any adult personality, I strongly believe that backtracking into their childhood is very important, because childhood forms, a human being, and a lot of values are picked up in the course of the childhood. So, and that is, what leads me to the next question: how was childhood and growing up for yourself?
Okay, I would just say that I was just a very lucky person. I grew up like my parents were never married. So I
Mm,
didn't have daddy and mommy at the same time in the same house with me growing up. So once in a while, like, you see me, I'll go to mommy. Another week, or I'll go to daddy. But I was just very lucky. I got the love I wanted somehow. And while I was growing up, I decided to. I was hearing so many things about people that grew up like me, that they were wayward and so on. And while I was growing up, I had the opportunity to go to school very well from nursery to any level. My dad was always around, coming once in a while to make sure that my education was not truncated in any way. My mom too, they were both teachers, and one became a lecturer later. And so I grew up like a normal child in that aspect of education. Because when I get home, my mom will check and will flog me if I'm not doing very well. The normal way we grew up, not the Gen Z way now that you cannot say, don't do this, don't do that. I grew up like that with my mom, and when I was still with my dad, um, the initial state, my dad was not married to nobody until when I got to secondary school and he got married. We were still managing it on up till a point where I couldn't stay there again, not because of anything. Nobody was disturbing me per se, because or nobody could disturb me. I was ready. I was not a very simple guy then, as small as I was. So it was just
Tough,
yeah. I was not. I would say I'm tall, but I knew what I
tough.
wanted. Because right from when I was 13, I decided I wanted to just know. I wanted to be like a normal man that would not be wayward. So
Mm,
that people would not say that because he grew up with no dad and mom together, that's why he's behaving like that. Because I saw other
mm,
people the way they were behaving. Although I had my share of all those things, I wanted to be this and that. So I did everything that you could imagine. I was not a bad boy, but I went through normal life. you know. And I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I chose the good
mm,
because I didn't want that legacy to continue,
mm.
you know. So
Oh,
my growing up
oh.
was bitter, sweet. Everything was in the was like what would I call it? An oxymoron.
Hmm. Oh, wow. Interesting. So who would you say were your early life influences, role models and mentors?
My dad was my early life role model, and I had an uncle then. My uncle was Mr. Oduleye. It was a disciplinarian to the core. You see. Then I saw him like somebody that was wicked, but right now I knew that he was mentoring me in a very strong way, and
Hmm.
I'm thankful for that, and I'm so I appreciate him a lot all the time. So my dad and my uncle, they were like my daddies those days when I was growing up, you know. But when I got to, well, I don't know if that's what you're asking. My early life, those were my
Mhm.
role model and my mentor. But when I got to when I was alone, I was on my own. Then I was looking for anybody that has an, a honorable character, a honorable being. People like I had people like Anta Lanio, who he's an actor, not was, and I have Tujiba Mishimi. Well, both of them are people that I look up to a lot.
Hmm. Hmm. So I pick a couple of themes from you in terms of values that shaped you, and you picked them up from your childhood, and you also have attributed that these values have actually um, been a very big part of your success in life. Number one is discipline, right?
Yes.
And also number two is determination, that having that self-belief, that will, knowing what you want for yourself. And also you
Yeah.
touched on the difference between your generation and the Gen Z's, right? So what would you say are like core values that parents of nowadays should ensure to keep, right, in order to produce successful individuals even in this generation?
See, I just believe that parents should be strict in a particular way. Should be strict in a diplomatic way,
Hmm.
because there's no way you can allow your children when they get to a particular age. I understand the adventure stage of every human being. When they're growing up, like teenagers, some things will just come up. They want to be like this, they want to be like that, and follow trend and stuffs. But when they get to that level, when they're, well, they call it adventure stage. I went through it too. But you see, adventure stage is when they go into so many things. If you don't allow them to be very close to you, so I think the difference between what was happening over back then and now is back then you cannot even look your dad in the face. I used to look like my dad in the face. He gave me the chance to do that. I could call him a very strict person, but he still allowed me to talk.
Hmm.
And so many things that I used to do, I think about this. Okay, if I talk to my dad, what will he say? But when you don't have an opportunity to talk to your dad is just strict. He's always busy. He doesn't have time to even sit down with you and know you very well. And it goes a long way. If for instance, I have two boys, I don't have a girl, and so my boys, I need to understand them. I need to allow them to be able to be free with me, to be able to talk to me like palace,
Like a friend.
so that like yes, like friends. That's the language I just said. And so they can open up to you and let you know this is what I want to do. If I think what you're doing is not right, I will sit you down and let you know. I will not say don't do it again like that. Even when you do that, you come around again to tell them I said that thing because of this and this and this and this and this and this. Because the children, what is in the Gen Z's right now is a why thing. Why would they tell me not to do that? Why must I not do this? Why can't I be like this? You know, and when the why doesn't have a reasonable answer, they go wayward most of the time. I just advise parents now to, especially the ones that have girls. It's a lot of work, you know. They have to know about so many things, sex life and everything, sex experience, sex education generally is very important for both of them, the male or female. So, and when you're not close to them, they ask you a question that has to do with that kind of line, and you say, "Shut up! Who taught you that kind of thing?" Even at 4, 5, they ask you some questions. You must answer them in a very how will I say it, diplomatic way. If not, they will get answers from outside. And while they're getting answers, they will teach them how to do the answers. That might not be okay for children. So it's very important for parents to allow their children to be very close to them so that they can open up.
There might not be alternative to practical, but then speaking of sexual education, that's quite a touchy subject for a lot of our Nigerian or African parents, so to speak. But at what point do you think is a fair age to start introducing sexual education to children in this day and age?
Once they can talk and they understand anything. So from 0 to 5 is a build up for any child. But starting from 6, 7, 8, they are very, very inquisitive. They are very, very inquisitive. And so when they ask you questions, answer them. Don't do stuff when they're there. You know, like things like I don't know, that's my own belief. Things like you're a dad and now you're not kissing your daughter on her lips, feeling that okay, she's my daughter, she doesn't know anything yet. It's not good. It's not good. Because she will be asking questions inside of her. When she kisses mommy, she kisses mommy in a different way. When I see them kiss on TV, I see something else. So why is he kissing me like that? And so it's a lot of questions. And there's something called penis envy for girls in psychology. Once a girl starts to see the nakedness of the father, thinking that she's a small girl, she starts to ask questions. Why does he have this shape and I have this shape? And that's a lot of questions unanswered. So from 6, I don't want to go into that too much because it's another level.
It's another conversation. So we can have an entire podcast on that, right? Let's quickly divert to your education, right? Your educational background. So can you speak to us, briefly about your educational background? And do you think education plays an important role in the success of an individual, and do you also think it has played a role in your own success?
That question is answered already because first and foremost, education is very, 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 very important for every individual. Any formal or informal education is very important. But you see, okay, let me just say that I went through the nursery and primary. I went to secondary school. After secondary school, I did A levels. Those days, that's HSC. Then you see that you have points that can take you into the university straight, or you do JAM. So I did JAM again, and I went to university. And apart from that, I did crash courses on advertising, marketing, public relations, and stuffs.
Oh, wow.
And right now, as an actor, I did workshops on so many things. I did workshops in music and everything, in acting, And so it has helped me a lot in everything I do, apart from acting. Anywhere I go to because if you are educated, there's something about education. It gives you the confidence to fit into anywhere.
Exactly.
And so you will not have complex. and it makes you humble when you don't have confidence because it's interwoven. If you have deficiency in some areas in your life, you now want to cover up. Trying to cover up, that's when you see some people being pompous. They're talking to you, you're posing, because you feel the person that is talking to you might be more educated than you are. Whether you have doctorate degree or not, as long as you went through the same university that I went through, Chikena, they're just like some steps ahead of me, but we went to school together, So we went through the NYC together. So and that's a leveler for me. So it's very important for anybody to be schooled. Because when you go to the university, you pass through the school and the school will pass through you.
Exactly.
So it's very important.
Oh, sorry, I was going to ask that. What university did you attend, and what course did you study there?
Yeah, I proudly went to Ondo State University, Adeolu. They used to call it UNAD. Now it's called EXU. And I studied guidance and counseling.
Oh, wow, interesting. That reflects in the way you speak, actually, because I see you have a very sound knowledge of psychology. That does reflect. Yes, and psychology basically is a social science, and I think that also reflects in the way you analyze social situations, and it influences your social interactions as well, right?
Yes.
So basically, like linking education with success, career success, basically, right? How did you now transition from an education in guidance and counseling to your passion for acting, and in what ways did the structure and critical reasoning you obtained from your education, how did that impact your career in the theater?
Okay, before I went to the university, I finished my secondary school 1985, and right after that, I started acting in 1986. Unprofessionally. 87, I met Adeolu Nigerian, and it was a stage thing for me then. It was stage all through. I was a stage actor, and I was learning so many things. I was going for this audition, this workshop, and everything. My dad is somebody. I want any line that you pick, my dad will support you. But before you know it, he will be digging out stuffs that you must go for this training, you must go for this training. I saw it in the papers, maybe you need to do this, and I was paying for everything. So I was smart enough to just key into it, and I got all that. And so before I went to the university, I was already acting. I knew what I wanted to be in life. I just wanted to go to school to just be a refined and read person, So while I was in school, when I went to school, I was already a star. I was a model then, and I did 2 films. I already done so many things, and by the time I started acting, when I was in school, I was always coming to Lagos to act. NTA those days was small money, but I was enjoying myself. I did not even go into acting for money. It was a passion that I wanted to just build up. For me, it was a hobby. I never thought of. I was thinking when I'm done with school, maybe I'll go into something else, and acting will just be a part thing for me, a part-time thing for me. But as God will have it, that's written at the take chop now, and God is saying yes to it. But you see, the area that I want to just point out is, people say that I'm different. I dare to be. I want to be. I want to stand out in everything I do, because I understand why I should stand out. I understand how to build a name and not allow any other thing to rob it, to rob on it. And that was taught me in school, because I did is understanding your emotions, understanding how to deal with people, understanding how to build your self-concept, accepting yourself the best thing that can happen to the human race. And so I think if you find out about me very well, they call me the finest boy in the whole world. Up till now, nobody find out.
Yeah, the nickname still sticks out. Fusho Adeolu finest.
Yeah, so it's not about me being the finest, I know a lot of other fine guys in the industry, but right now, I see myself the best thing that can happen to the industry because of self concept that I've built over the years about me, and so I believe that anybody that has that kind of thinking, you will not worry about anything. You will not want to compete with anybody because you are the best. Except the only person I can compete with right now is me.
Hmm.
And so I want to be so any level that I find myself at every point in life, I'm satisfied. Doesn't mean that I will relax because I know I have a step to go again. I have other steps and steps to go till I'm no more. There's non-stop thing for me when it comes to moving into glory. Let me put it like that. So
Interesting.
I'm sure that
So,
school had a very strong impact in my life. School, yes, it did. It did. Am I growing up to and what I met in my family, and I said, okay, myself for sure, you must change what is going on. Your dad and mom were never married. You grew up and you were lucky by God's grace. But your child might not have that opportunity to be that lucky if you allow that thing to happen again. So I said, no, I must be married, stay married till I'm no more. And so my children grew up seeing both of us all the time and all the days of their lives. And that's what will happen. And they would
kudos to
develop
you
that.
on that.
I'm going to leave that
Yeah.
legacy for them so that they can continue. Because the Bible say, charity begins at home.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Big ups to you on that. It's by no means an easy achievement at all, especially in this age and time. We see what's happening in society. It's really difficult, holding the household together. So you deserve all the praise and all the flowers that you can get for keeping it together.
Thank God.
Okay, so let's talk about your early influences in terms of your acting career. So who were those people who inspired your early passion for acting, and how did you navigate your way into the scene of acting?
Oh, okay. I think you asked. Okay, so in 1986, I was in first tack. I was doing my A level. I was in first tack though, and I'm a church person. I like to go to. I'm an instrumentalist in church, so we sing and dance and do everything. So one guy, they call him Niyi Ojemakinde, is now the radio broadcaster, is professional one at that. He just said, okay, he was in the choir in another church, and we used to meet once in a while. So he said, okay, let's just form a group and start to dance and sing, then do some small acting. And so, because we used to do church drama then, so we gathered together, and we called ourselves Monidex Group. Monidex. That's what I don't know how we formed it.
Arrived at the name.
I can't remember how we did, but it was we shall call it Monilex. And so at a point in time, we saw that we needed somebody who was a professional that would come and train us. And we invited Anta Tundelanio. And that was how I became a loyalist to Anta. And you know the rest of the story. It started like that, and like that, and like that. I was doing everything with him, and I developed. He said something that day. Yes, he said something one day that he did not even remember. He was sitting far away from me, not very far, but where he was seated. If he wanted me to, if he whispered, I wouldn't even hear what he said. And I thought he said he whispered it, but it came to me very loudly. Loudly. He said this guy will become a great actor. When I told him some years back, he said for me to hear it, that means I have bionic hearing. I'm telling
Just
you,
murmurages, just
he
mutter something,
murmured
but
and
then you
explained
hear
very loud
it.
to
Yeah.
me. I was not even looking at him when I heard it. I just heard that voice, and it's like when you go to church and the pastor is preaching, and there's a word for you. It comes like that, and you key. This one came like very loud. It was very loud to my hearing, and I just said, "Okay, you wanted to be a lawyer, but now I think acting is going to be your profession." I still tried to be a lawyer, though. I tried. I did jump 4 times. You know,
Whoa.
I will have I will have a cut off. That's why I said when I finished 85, I did not enter the university until 4 years after. So people in service here were thinking I was too old for camp. Anyway, it was just that, and that was the beginning of the whole thing. I just said, okay, man, I think law is not working for me. Let me go into this, and thank God.
I go into it full on. But what would you say? What would you say is your first big break in the world of acting,
How?
and kept propelling
On
you?
TV, right? On TV or on stage? On stage, you might not even know about that, but on TV, okay, big break. The first thing I did was I was in English industry. I was not in the Yoruba at all because I couldn't speak Yoruba very, very, very well. You know, I was just a Lagos boy. Lagos Yoruba now,
Lagos Yoruba.
and so it wasn't working for me when I had to do the Yoruba thing later. But that was why I even stayed. But it was I don't know if you guys will remember Palace. Palace was a soap on AIT, and then there was no other station. It was AIT majorly, and Palace was on it. So after that, I did some English movies, but I saw that big. For me, those were my beginnings. But the Yoruba thing brought me out like that. I will agree with that. The Yoruba thing brought me out, and I think it was Aliariwo.
So,
Although before
so
that,
at that.
I had gotten best actor in Inyo Ogunodun, produced and directed by Antalanio in 2000, year 2000. And Aleriwo came out 2004, but Aleriwo blew me. He blew me. I remember. I agree with that.
Wow. So at that point, you just knew that yes, this thing is for me, and you felt encouraged that yeah, I'm going to make it in this, and I'm going to keep going.
I've been encouraged since the first thing I did on stage. I knew that this was what I wanted to do at that time, way back. That's why I said for me, the first thing I did on stage was King Emene, a book written by Zulu Shofola, and I did Trials of Bonajero too. That's a big one for me.
Oh, that's showing his book.
Yes, showing house book.
Yeah, showing his book.
And so for me at that time, even while I was serving, I did something. I got a national award. And I was retained in Oyo State to be taking them dance and drama, and I did not read theater arts. So I knew that it was my calling.
Your
I was
talent has
actually dancing
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking at the journey so far, what would you say have been the highs and lows, in your acting career?
How many heights? I don't know about lows.
Okay, let's talk about the highs there.
All my achievements, I'm always happy when I'm on set. My best moments when I'm with my family and when I'm on set. So when I'm on set, I'm always very happy. I consider myself as good as my last job. So the next one I'm going to do, I must be my best. I don't think like Fusho is a name that's reckoned with already, and so I just go and do it anyhow. I want to appear a new person in every movie you see. So my acting style, I might have a peculiar mannerism, but my normal way is I want to look different, I want to act differently, and let people see me in another character, not the same way, you know. So, and I meet a lot of people. I've gotten so many awards. I'm just that kind of person that doesn't like to flaunt or talk about myself too much. Apart from while I'm working on it. At the end of the day, the process. I don't talk about my process. I don't talk about so many things. Anything you want to know about me is what you see. I will not talk about it majorly, except to push me, and I'll let you know that okay, I know what I'm doing. Because I'm from Ondo State, and so if you push me, I'll let you know, man. I know what I'm talking about.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the fact that even though you're a public figure, you also keep your private life private. And it's essential as a celebrity to keep your sanity,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this age of social media, right? But
Yeah.
then, like, what difficulties or challenges would you like? Are you happy to share that you probably overcame in life that have actually inspired you as a person, and you'd probably like other people to learn from? A lot of people just tend to see the glory, but they don't see the story behind the glory. They see the gains, but they don't see the pains behind the gains. But then, as
Yeah.
successful people, we actually go through certain challenges that build us, that shape us, make us stronger, and get us going and make us believe in ourselves. If you can overcome certain things, right, it just keeps you stronger in life. But then, which ones are you happy to share, or just a peripheral level, and just to encourage people out there that let them keep going. Tough times in life
Okay.
are tough people too.
Okay. I First and foremost, I would like you guys to know that for me, challenges are what I love so much. I love it so much. If I do not, if everything is straight, I'm always afraid. That's why I might not remember some of these things. I might not really remember because when they come, it shapes me more. It makes me stronger. So I'm always ready for it. I don't get moved by anything because I told you about the emotional thing that I studied in school, and I know the harm it can do to somebody's life if you allow it. It builds up, and it gets to a level where you won't be able to control it, and it makes you nobody in life. So I do not allow any challenge to affect me. So what will I say? So when I started, like meeting people that are already there and they want to bully
Maybe
you,
talk
let me
down
use
on
that
you.
word.
Yeah.
And but when I come out, the way I come, the way I walk, the way I sound, my daddy told me something a long when I was growing up that if you enter anywhere and everybody don't look up, go back outside without saying anything.
In the spirit of being the
You know,
finest.
see, if you walk into anywhere, what you're wearing as a cologne must attract people. Must look up and say, "Ah, who is smelling like that?" First, then if they don't look up, the first thing you say when they hear your composure, they must respect you. So I don't. When people come like that, I see them as they're afraid of me. When I see anybody try to bully me, I just like that say, okay, you're afraid of me. You're afraid of my stature. You're afraid of my good looks or whatever inside of me. I'm using that one to just strengthen my whatever, to boost my ego. So it doesn't make me a proud person. No, 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 no. I still calm down, but I will not go to where I'm not supposed to go. So challenges like bullying will happen to anybody in the industry and anywhere. Then you face even your colleagues on set
Yeah.
might see you as what's wrong with him now? Are you the only this and that and that? So all those things are normal that will happen to you in life. And the major one that people will talk about is when I started. I told you that I was not thinking of money, So when I go to act, anything you give me at that time, I will not even bother. I will not bother. So when people say they were underpaid, I will just see it as well. I went to play and I got something. You know, so that's supposed to be a challenge for some people that went through it. But you see, sometimes I've done a 3-part movie and I was paid 7,000 naira before. Yeah, 7,000 naira, and I used to sleep on the floor, bare floor, for 5 days, and I was enjoying myself. I was enjoying myself. So other people will see those as where they went through all that, they went through this and that. We go to work in all these rural areas. We go into very thick forest, and sometimes you sleep there. Even when they ask me to go and sleep somewhere else, I say no. Let me enjoy it. Let me go through all this so that I can have a story to tell. But unfortunately, when I tell my story, people say, "Man, you did not go through anything," because I don't see it as punishment. But you see, everything you can think of, I went through everything you can think of. Everything. Persecution. When you see people that are supposed to be your fans, they come to fight you because they want money, and that's one part that I don't even like. I don't want to talk about it because it pisses me off a lot when somebody says it's your fan. They don't know the meaning of fan. That's why some of them will call me, I'm your fan. You are my fan. Me, the celebrity, am I the fan or you are the fan? Because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. So if you call somebody, man, I'm your fan, I love you so much, I watch you on TV, I've been watching you since when I was small, so Baba, give us money.
Man, that's the wrong mentality right there.
That's the very wrong mentality, and we need to change it. And I don't know who will change that. I don't know who will change that. And unfortunately, some of our people too, when they go like that, they will now throw money. They throw money, and I don't want to use the kind of language that comes to my head, but I think it's very funny.
Yeah, I personally do not support that as well. I do not support that as well. Like it doesn't sit right with me. I am a finance professional by training, and I don't believe in that kind of behavior, because like the Chinese proverb says, if you give a man a fish, you fed him for a day, but then if you teach a man to fish, you fed him for a lifetime. So I don't believe in giving men fish, just feeding them for a day. It's like you are activating a certain wrong attitude in them.
And that has been done. So that's really, I did not have any problem with my family when I was starting. My dad was in support of anything I want to do. I have to go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So no problem. Basically, a lot of people in our age and time go through a lot of mental health challenges, right? Due to some of these challenges that you have faced and overcome. You spoke about something like, you giving yourself certain self affirmations in order to validate your own self. But a lot of people seek validation from other people. So, like, do you have like any pieces of advice for young up and coming people in terms of keeping their mental sanity, right, and overcoming these challenges by certain simple practices that would take them far?
Sorry, let me just okay. Well, the way it is for me, first thing I would like to advise is for in any profession you want to go into, you have to be ready. You have to be ready mentally. You have to be ready. Your psychological makeup has to fit into your profession. Else, you're just wasting time. Because if, for instance, now I have a son that wants to study music, there's no way he can be in that setup and it will not go well with him, because he's already music inclined in everything he does. He's already playing instruments in church. He's already into everything music. So you want to be an actor, you're not ready for how will I say it now? Because most of the actors we have now, they do not understand that they're supposed to be role models to the world. You know, I meet a lot of people that tell me that they've been watching me from when they were small. And the first day they met me, I did something and it has shaped their life up till now.
Mm.
Some will say that they grew up watching me, and because they see the way I behave with my family, they are planning to get a good wife and build a good home.
Mm.
That you know, so in everything you do, because people watch you, they see you outside. You might not know them, but they know you. So you have to be ready for everything. If you don't have, if you did not have a good behavior before, if you become an actor, you should try and be a very honorable person in everything you do. And unfortunately, I say it every time. I don't get I get frowns from people that are even my colleagues, but I will not stop saying it. A lot of actors are not supposed to be in that industry. It's not
Mm.
just by acting alone that you know how to act. Is not the real thing. The real thing is you are teaching a
Talent is
lesson when
never enough.
you
Mm.
are teaching a lesson. You are teaching a lesson. You are passing a message to people. You're like a pastor that is preaching to the whole world. And so when they see you and you're not practicing what you preach, then you are leading them astray. And so for a young person that wants to go into acting or any other profession at that, they should be ready mentally for it. Okay, this is the things that I'm expected to know as an actor. These are the things I'm expected to be as an actor. These are the things I'm expected to do as an actor. If I know that my character uh, pattern cannot go with that, then I will look for something else that will not bring me into the public. So if you like to, for instance, smoke cigarette now, or do anything that is, well, I might consider it wrong and you consider it right, as long as you're not doing it, nobody is looking at you in the public. The only thing you have to contend with is your family. Your children or your siblings might now emulate you, but the whole world will not emulate you because they don't know you. But when they know you and they respect you, and some of them will consider you role models. I have people that are adults and they want to behave like me. Adults. You will hear people that say, I look like you. My wife said I look like you. And so he starts to dress like me. He
Seriously.
wants to walk like me.
Seriously.
Yeah, yes. He finds out that I'm not some things that he used to do. He will now stop because he sees me doing them, not doing them. So anybody who wants to be an actor should know that you are like second God to a lot of people that watch you.
Mm.
So your life must be something to write home about, something to be able to, um, something for people to be able to say, I can be part of this man's life.
Mm.
You
We
know?
should always ensure to be good examples to walk the talk and not
Yes,
just talk the talk.
yes. So
Mm.
that's what I feel. It's not all about building the creative sense in you or your acting prowess. No, 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 no. After acting, what do you do offset? You know, that's a major thing. But people are just after making money that is not money. You know, if you know what I mean. If you call yourself a
Mm.
rich man, if you call yourself a rich man, let me see what you have in your account. You know, your account for the next 20 years, not your account this week or your account next week.
Mm.
There are rich men and there are rich men. I'm not rich,
Mm.
but I'm very okay. I'm very okay. If I drink Gary today, I will drink that Gary smiling and dancing. But that person will drink Gary and be crying.
Mm.
Uh-huh. So it's just
Mm.
it's a build up in one's life that is very very sensitive. You have to be deliberate about it.
Mm.
You have to be deliberate
That
about it.
actually that speaks to a saying that I appreciate a lot. Talent is never enough. Our attitude is, what is key.
Yes, so because
Hmm.
before anybody can believe you, you have to prove it. You have to show it. So when they see you outside and they see you, sometimes when they see you outside and they get disappointed, when they watch you again, the next thing they will say, "Go to your box, Jerry." You
Hmm.
know. But when they see you outside and they respect what you do, uh, you know. Somebody saw me and said, I will not mention the amount he gave me, but he gave me cash of a lot of money. I wanted to run mad that day. You know, but he said he's been watching me that I'm too humble and I'm just trying
Hmm.
to be. I'm not there yet. I'm not there
Hmm.
yet. I will be if I can use if I can use the language, I'll be humbler when I'm very, very rich. Because I noticed that rich people, genuinely rich people, real rich people, they are very, very humble.
Very humble because they have
Rich
nothing to
people,
prove to people.
that's the word, my brother. You understand
They have
what
nothing
I'm
to
talking
prove.
about?
Mhm.
Nothing. When I'm very rich, I can decide to walk on the street or drive Okada. And people will say, look at that man, he's a very rich man, oh, he's just riding Okada. You know, he'll be teaching a lesson, sending a message to some people too. You know, but when you see people that want to drive the biggest car in the world when they are not ready for it, you know, windscreen, ordinary lamp, headlamp will break like this, they won't be able to buy it. They will now be begging for somebody to help them.
Well, interesting. I actually wanted to put something through you. You being a guidance counselor. A lot of people struggle with imposter syndrome, right? So, like,
You what?
what advice? Imposter syndrome. So that's that psychological problem of people not feeling like they deserve the success that they have achieved, or feeling like they don't deserve to be where they are, right? So how do you advise people who are struggling with that kind of a
Ah,
psychological challenge?
my brother, that's another thing. Oh, that's a very deep one because it starts from something, a build up while they were growing up, or a build up
Mhm.
where they had maybe anxiety problem, or it could have built up while they were in the family. So it's something that you need
Mhm.
to sit down with that person and have a serious therapy. It's not something that you can just talk about. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, the person
Exactly.
has to go to therapy first. The person has you have to understand because you might not really know where the problem is coming from. You don't know, you cannot even know. It could emanate from marriage. It could emanate from the parents, maybe the way they were treating him when he was small, or they made him feel like he was not worthy of being a child or their son or something, or so many things. So one needs to talk to that kind of person. The therapist will sit down. Since you're talking psychology now, a lot of men understand it. There's something they call rational emotive therapy.
Hmm.
You allow the person to talk. The person will just be gisting with you. And while gisting, you're not really asking questions to make him feel you're interrogating him. Because when you sound like you're interrogating, he might not answer you well again. But you guys be gisting, and it's not a day thing. Because those things will just come out in conversation, and you now, okay, this and that. Sometimes some people are fat because they eat a lot. They eat a lot because they are trying to cover up their their emotional problem, one particular emotional problem. And so they will turn to eating all the time and they are obese.
Hmm.
And so
Stress eaters.
you when you can pinpoint the real problem, that kind of problem now, how can you pinpoint it? You just believe that he likes to eat a lot and that's why the person is fat. Meanwhile, he doesn't like to eat a lot. It's
You need
because he
to do
has
a
a
root
problem.
cause analysis. Hmm.
Bros, you understand the language.
Wow,
The major thing
interesting.
about
But
that,
then, our people don't like therapy. They tend to frown, the culture tends to frown on the concept of therapy. Would you
it's the
advise that
culture, and everything is
people
changing.
embrace it? Yeah.
Yes, everything is changing gradually. Everything is changing gradually because sometimes when you are faced with something, you might not. That's how you have a lot. Before now, you will not hear of anybody that wants to commit suicide in Nigeria, but now it's very rampant,
Hmm.
very rampant because people are not able to contain the stress they're going through now. You know, they've been working and their lifestyle and everything is not commensurate to what they're collecting as take home. And so they think about, man, what should I do to myself? And when they start to think about those things, that's why sometimes you have a child that doesn't talk too much. It's very dangerous. Don't say he's a very quiet boy. No, 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 no. A child must talk at a particular time. He must play at a particular time. He might not play too much, but when it's not playing and it's not talking, you have to watch out.
Hmm.
You have to watch out. You have to let them talk. Because when they keep things inside of them, it's like
That is not healthy.
football. You carry if you a football now that is blown, you try to push it down inside the water. If you
Hmm.
remove your hand, it will come back up.
Hmm.
And so those things that happened when they were young, you would think at 6 he doesn't know what is happening. No, it's just 0 to 5 that is formative of any child. After 5, anything can happen. No.
Hmm.
That thing will just be in their subconscious, and by the time they grow up, they just have this insecurity in everything they do. Insecurity. They do stuff to themselves and they believe that they're not doing well. Even when people applaud them, they will believe that they're just fake. And so
Hmm.
they call it external orientation. Everything you do, you believe that somebody's after your life. This one, that's the person that is causing it. This person, without this person, I cannot make it. Without this one, I cannot make it.
Hmm.
Even
Interesting.
God, even the Bible will tell you that, man, you have to trust in yourself. You just not use your own understanding. You have to
Hmm.
trust in yourself at least first.
Self-belief is key. Hmm, interesting.
Yeah,
That aligns with my philosophy. I like to tell people, conceive, believe, and achieve, right? You have to conceive, and of course, you have to believe in yourself. And then that is what leads you to achieving.
because that's the major thing. If you do not believe in yourself, you cannot even conceive anything.
Hmm.
So I would say that believe in yourself, conceive, then achieve.
Oh wow!
Because if you
So
don't believe
you're
in
you're
yourself,
you're aligning my philosophy. Believe, conceive, achieve.
yes,
Wow,
my
Fusho
brother.
Adeolu fine and say so. So
If you don't believe in
I'll give
yourself,
you
you
that
cannot
one.
conceive anything.
I
Nothing
will
will
give you
stay in
that
your brain.
one.
Yeah.
I will give
You
you that
know?
one, sir. Wow, interesting. But looking at you as a person, do you still have role models at this point of your life, and do you have mentors, and what are their contributions to your life?
Right now, I just believe in some people. I have role models in a lot of people right now, just that a part of their lives might not be what I would like. But I have role
Mm.
models in somebody that people will not even believe. It's not a known person to everybody. It's a pastor. Is
Oh
a
wow.
pastor of the Joy Cometh Church in Ikorodu, Lagos, Nigeria. His name is
Mm.
Pastor Olaito Arumolaro.
Mm.
Is the way he sees life is just too normal, too proper for me. And so without him knowing that he's my role model,
Mm.
I'm
Shout out
telling
to
you,
him.
I'm telling you, without him knowing he's my role model. Apart from being a pastor, he's somebody who is I cannot call him a perfect human being, but the way he sees life,
It's down to earth.
everybody, yes, down to earth, and he doesn't believe that nothing is impossible.
Mm.
I'm telling you, he doesn't believe that nothing is impossible. You know, so him and A lot of people, I don't want to mention names so that I won't be in the industry, a lot of people. But one person that I can mention is Tunji Bamishigbe, barrister. Tunji Bamishigbe is an actor, producer, director. So he read theater arts and read law. You know, and because I wanted to be a lawyer, we flew a lot.
Mm. Mm.
It's another
Interesting.
person
But
that
then do you still like have mentors, that hold your hand through or like support you in terms of advice on different things in life at this point?
well, yes, sometimes I listen a lot. I read books and I look at people's life without them talking to me. I look at their lives and I get inspired, and so I'm a
Mm.
mentee to them.
Mm. Interesting. So what would you say is it like the importance of young people having mentors in their lives to help shape them? Is it something you consider important? Like, should every young person look to have like positive influences in society that they can have one-on-one relationships with in order to develop and grow?
Yes, it's very important. It's very important because two things: there's role model, there's mentor. Your role model might not be somebody that you can get in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you look at that person on TV and you say, "I like the way Fusho Adeolu works. I want to work like that. I like what he does. I want to be like him." But you need somebody who knows you very well that can tell you, "This is what I think about you," and that's your mentor. You need it. It's very important for every individual. I'm telling you, if you don't have in your father, then you must have somewhere. Maybe in your lecturer, your pastor, your boss. You know, you must have maybe your uncle. Somehow, or an area father or area brother, because that person will be very close to you. He knows what you can. For instance, I know my children right now, except they want to hide some other things because they are listening to me. You know, I
Mm.
I know for sure that they see me as a role model and a mentor. I know for sure.
Mm.
And so, because I know that in everything I do, I do not want to fall their hands. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
don't want to get them disappointed in what they hear about me. And so, my dad did this. I'm so
Mm.
disappointed. That alone can trigger so many things. You can just say, well, I don't need to be a good person if my dad can do that. You know? So, it's very risky to have a wrong mentor. So, that's why the child must be well trained at home first and must have a very good self concept. So you don't have a mentor in hooligans. You don't have a mentor in people that throw money around. You don't have a mentor in people that are into cyber, whatever. You know,
Mhm.
because some people get it wrong. They have mentors that are just loud people. Because that success is not when you have money, you know. But basically, it's very important. It's very, very, very important to have a mentor.
Hmm. Interesting. So far we've actually talked about like your acting career, but how about directing and producing? Like, how's that been for you, and at what point did you venture into that?
Well, at a point, I was pushed because the way I was trained, an actor is an actor, a producer is a producer. An actor can decide to be a director, but you see, it's not something that is. Um, it was not a celebrated thing that time for an actor to be a producer, because a producer is a businessman. You know, a producer is a businessman. A producer is not an actor per se, because the work of a producer is not to write story, is not to look for locations. The producer is just to say that, okay, I have money, I want to do this, and somebody says, I have a story. He brings the person and say, okay, I'll pay you, bring your story, coordinate this and but doesn't mean that the producer must not know anything about movie making. He must be a movie maker. So why I was
Then how about
an
the
actor?
director?
No, let me. I'm trying to break something out. While I
Okay.
was an actor, and I see so many things that they do. I say, this is not right. That's not supposed to be. You guys not plan. Why is this going on like this? Why is your first day like this? A lot of producers will say, I don't. You cannot understand because you're not a producer. And I'll say, no. I don't believe you. If you plan very well, this will not happen. I've done productions with people, and I know I've been behind the camera, and I know that this and this and this has to be put in place. So I said, okay, I'm going to try it. So I went into producing in 2004. That was the first one I did. Was Yoruba movie. Because when I was in English, I was not even thinking of what am I going to be producing for? When we have producers. While the producer is waiting for his money, I've done like 4 films and I've been paid. But the producer is still waiting for money to pay for that film that he did. He might make more money later than me, but by the time he gets to that money, I will have made 10 times what is going to make.
His money is tied up.
And I will not have any problem of what happened to this film? It's not selling. No headaches. I'm gone. I'm done. I've done my own part. When it comes out, I might not even have time to see it. So, but I ventured into producing, and it was a very interesting thing until marketers wanted to kill me, and I decided not to do it again. But doesn't mean that I'm not going to still do. So right now, if I'm going to produce, it's going to be big time, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't like talking about my process. When it's cooked and it's ready to be eaten, then they will see it. Then they will ask questions about it. For directing, I started directing right from stage. Right from stage, like I said, I went through a lot of workshops with a lot of people. There's one place that we used to go to, Eat Pan. Eat Pan is like supposed to be a training school for TV people, but you must have been into it before you go, because it's just 2 weeks or 15 days for directing, 12 days for this and that. So I went through that, and I was training under Antelanio formally and informally, and informally with Tadio Gidon and Tujiba Mishimi, because I was studying them. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Atta was actually teaching me, was telling me this and this and that. But Tujiba Mishimi was not telling me or teaching me anything about directing. Tadio Gidon was not really doing that. But when we come around and they're talking about how they shot this thing, the way they shot it and everything, then I go to read and find out stuff. And so I built my directing. And the only thing why I'm not really directing regularly is because I would lose my face on TV. Because people will want me to direct and at the same time act. And that's not convenient for me. Because I'll be on set playing the lead. I'll be on set playing the lead, and I'll be directing again. No. The director is supposed to be on the monitors to watch what the actors are doing. It's like a coach and a footballer at the same time. No. You're on the pitch, and that's exactly what is happening.
It's like a player manager.
That's what I'm talking about. So a lot of directors, they have assistant director, somebody who will monitor for them. No, your idea is your idea. Nobody can have your same idea. You will bend your rules when somebody else is co-directing with you. You have to bend your rules. Except you have a storyboard that everybody's following.
Okay. So, and of course, I think maybe the synergy between yourself and the assistant director as well. So, if they understand your story,
it means that from beginning, you must have an agreement on every scene, every shot, every character. Our thinking must be at par. That's the only time the assistant director can work for me. because the assistant director is just, even to my shots, the way what the camera is saying at that point must be my idea.
Mm.
I'm not saying that I don't listen to advice or corrections, but the way I was trained, that you have a storyboard already in your head. This scene, this color, this scene, this mood, this scene, this music, it's already in my head. That's why the first movie I did, I told you, I went to the studio myself, I carried keyboard, and I was playing the mood song and everything into it.
Wow. That is impressive. But what would you say has been the key to your consistency, given the body of your work? And of course, your body of work is highly impressive and it speaks for itself.
Oh, well, at first I'll say God. Second, my wife, my family. And thirdly, because I'm always looking for knowledge every time if I watch any movie, whether it's okay or not, I will learn something from it. The best way for anybody to even learn is when you see some people that are making mistakes. That's when you learn more. That's my own idea about it. Sorry?
I said learning by observation.
Yes, sir. So when people make mistakes, for instance, if I see a new thing, it's just fresh and that's it. But when I see something that we've been doing wrong in the wrong way, and I now see the right, and I'll think about, okay, it can be done better like this. When some people make mistakes, and like I said that thing when I used to be, I was an instructor in a music workshop in Iwo. It was a Baptist music workshop, and when I see people play drums and the way they handle the hi-hat, those two things that go like this, and I'll be listening to it and I'll be getting a better idea of what they're playing. So I'll go back to practice, and from that mistake that the person made, I will invent something else on that drum. I won't play drums like that again though, but that's what used to happen to me. So when you act sometimes and you make a mistake and I watch you, I say, okay, this acting, this guy is crying, and the mood, the song they're playing under is a jazz. It's not telling the story of what the person is doing. So I know for sure that the next time I have to play something, even if I made that mistake, I'll correct it. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like you constantly look for ways to improve, and then you're big on improvisation as well. Yeah, because this is art, right? Yeah, the imperfections. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. Coming from you means a lot. It means a lot. So what do you think what do you think your fans, right? What perception do you think they have of you?
I think I've been able to build that thing into my fans. They see me as a real role model. Some see me as, like, they call me pastor. Some say that I'm just down to earth. A lot of them now say that I like to dance a lot. But generally, I think my fans, they know me very well as somebody who wants to live a very good life and have a very good impression on people around.
Speaking of dancing a lot, I interviewed one of your colleagues in Nollywood, that is Aya Adesanya, yesterday, and then she also spoke about dancing. Is there is there a correlation? Is there a correlation between acting and dancing?
Not actually, but you see, for me, I like to dance a lot, and it was something that I just grew up into. Maybe because my maternal grandfather, they used to call him David of their time. He used to dance a lot and was very tall. Those days they were not really tall, because when I did not really meet him, but when I went to his house, I had to bend down to enter everywhere. So I'm sure his height then might not even be up to 6 feet. But then, Yeah, but he was a tall person in the village where he was living. But and it was a pastor too. They used to call them catechist. Well,
Wow.
he used to dance a lot, and I saw that in my mom too, and his and her siblings. They dance and sing a
Yeah.
lot. They like to dance a lot. And
That's
for
so
me
good.
right
That's
now,
great.
I'm not somebody who has time to go to the gym all the time. You know,
Oh,
and I need to exercise myself. So I look for something that is not boring to me, something that I will not be tired of. So when I
wow.
dance, I'm not tired, and so I exercise my body while dancing. So when you look at my dance,
Interesting.
sometimes you're wondering why is he dancing like this? Does he not know his age? Because if I'm dancing for myself, it's different. What I'm dancing for, I record it so that people can learn from it. And a lot of people they got the message that I'm trying to exercise myself.
Dancing to exercise.
You
Wow.
know? And so I do some things that people were wondering, are you sure you're that age? Are you sure you're over 50? Are you very sure? Because I've been
Mm.
exercising all my life. Right from when I was 13 years old, that part of me that you don't know, maybe you ask that question later, then I can say.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. That
Yeah.
is on my list of questions. So do not spill the beans before
Yeah.
it is time. Leave sealed in the meantime, right? So basically, right, what accomplishments are you most proud of, for your entire, let me say your entire life, career, personal life, or what are those accomplishments that stick out for you and you're very grateful for?
Majorly, number one is that I could build a home and stay married. I've been married for 19 years now, and everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. It's every day is the sweetest memory for me. Every day of my life in my marriage. You know, I have three friends in my family. I have my wife and my boys, the two boys. They're all friends. It's always a
Mm.
very nice. Then my career, I decided to just be the finest, stand out, be different from everybody. When people see me, they say you're different. They cannot really pinpoint. Most of them might not really say this is why, but they see that I'm different. And that's what I had planned in my life. Was I did advertising, and so I understand something about um, target audience. So I have a target audience in my head when I'm acting, when I'm doing anything, and my audience when they see me, they identify with me all the time, and
Mm.
so I'm fulfilled.
Interesting. You are a blessed man. You are a blessed man. So, what are your hobbies and your personal interests?
Like now, my hobbies: one, acting; two, music; three, dancing.
Music. What is dancing without music? Really? What would you say about the Afrobeat movement that has taken the world by storm? Niger to the
We're so
world.
happy. I'm telling you, we're so happy about it. We're so happy about it because right now I'm not in Nigeria, and anywhere I go, I listen to the Afrobeat thing, the Nigerian music is everywhere. It has taken over the world, and it's not by word of mouth. It's any club you enter in America, anywhere, they play Nigerian music, and people dance to it
Mm.
more than any other thing. So right now, there's nothing in the club when it's not Nigerian. So I'm
Yeah,
so happy about that, and I'm praying that the acting world too will get to that level. The movie
mm,
industry too will get to that level. You know, when we have serious-minded people, and we have people that can sponsor and encourage people there. When you want to sponsor, you look at who you want to sponsor, and putting your money where you can be sure of it. You can go to sleep. So
mm.
because I know that hip hop is not by the person that is singing it alone. We have a lot of people that are supporting them everywhere in the world. So when the movie industry is supported like that too in Nigeria, then we'll get to that level. I'm sure because
Mm.
we're ready for it already. We're ready for it. It's just a push that we need. And so at that time,
I think it's getting there gradually. I think it is getting there gradually
yes,
because when you look at Netflix, for example, you have quite a number of Nigerian movies that are standouts in recent time. With
yeah,
good quality of production, good storylines. I, for one, personally, I'm not much of a movie person. I don't really like see movies because that is not my thing. Whether it is Nollywood or Bollywood or Hollywood, right? But then one thing for me is I love quality, right? And then I've been able to observe from afar that okay, Nollywood has been able to churn out like good quality movies that are now being globally recognized. I live in the UK, I live in London, and then I see people in the diaspora talking about these movies, and I see people that are non-Nigerians tell me, oh, I think there was somebody from Poland that told me, hey, my oga, how you did? I was like, oh, what's up? And then she
of
told
course.
me I learned it from a Nigerian movie. I was like, whoa. And then she was like, oh, God, how far now? I was like,
You
so
know, that's okay.
really, like, so it's interesting to see how the culture is being propelled and to be beyond the boundaries of our country. But speaking of Afrobeats, like which artists actually stand out for you? Like who are the guys that make you smile, that make you happy?
For me, I love Ashake a lot. I love Ashake.
Yeah, that's the one name I wanted you to say.
I love Ashake a
he's,
lot.
he's,
He's he's really, really doing it. Don't let me say so much. I love him so much.
he's
You
killing
know.
it. He's killing it.
Sorry?
Uh, I said
Yeah.
he's killing it big time.
Yes. Yes.
Even on the international scenes in the international
Yes.
environment,
Yes.
he's good.
And he's not thinking about. He's not thinking of. He wants to be. Okay. Let me give you this. Some people speak Yoruba now because they listen to Ashake. Some people
Mm.
here in America here, they speak Yoruba. They can sing his song in Yoruba word for word.
Hmm. That
And
is amazing.
and naturally they will want to know the meaning because the parents will now say, okay, what you are saying, do you know what it means and everything? I
Mm.
must say that. Well, don't let me. I don't want to be tribalistic, so that because right now, Yoruba is something that thank God that I went to learn how to speak very well, and
Mm.
thank God for the Yoruba movies. If not, I was still be speaking my English, my Sule Yoruba. But right now,
Lagos Europe.
I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable with Yoruba speaking, and I understand it very well. The deep part of it, I might not be able to go deep in speaking, but I
Mhm.
understand it very deeply. Thank
Mm.
God for Yoruba.
Wow.
Yoruba.
Interesting.
Because
Interesting.
when they give me scripts and when there's a proper script and I read, I will tell them to break it down for me. I must understand it very well. It's not just cramming and dropping. I must understand why I'm saying that so that my face can tell what I'm saying. You know, that's
Mm.
that's when it will look real. But when they give me one Yoruba adage that I don't even know the meaning, I'll say, no, 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 break it down. What does it mean? Give me the literary meaning so that I can easily say it. I will understand what I'm saying. I will know how to use it. You know,
Mm. Mm. Interesting.
that's
Are there any other names that stick out for you, in the Afrobeat scene?
I think I like all of them. I don't want to mention name, but that name I can mention because it's a theater person.
He's your boy.
It's a theater person. It's a theater person.
Uh, oh yeah,
It's a
that is
test
true.
person.
He did go to my school, OAU, Great Fair.
Yes,
So
it's a test person.
yeah. So wow,
It's a test
interesting.
person.
So I see the bias. I see the bias.
Yes,
That's interesting.
nobody can
You
you say the Davido, okay, Davido too. All these other people they are okay.
they're great. They're great, and of course they're pushing the culture
Everybody is
to
doing very well, very well. I'm proud of every one of them. I'm proud of
mm,
every one of them. Proud
fantastic
of them.
work out there. Right. Okay. So you mentioned you've actually mentioned passionately how much you love to learn, right? And books are a very important part of learning, right? So is there any book that sticks out for you that you would like to recommend to the audience that can help them, achieve success in life generally?
My brother, you'll be surprised too, is the Bible.
Interested, interested,
I
interesting.
use that when you read it, as if you're learning, you're looking for wisdom. It's not by church thing alone. It's just with wisdom, and it's in there. It's in there. Everything you can think of. Every other thing has been rewritten by different authors. When I was young, I was small. I used to read all the booms and what they call it, Mills and Booms and stuff. I used to read a lot of it, and a lot of books. I might not even know the author, but anywhere I go, I pick something and I read. I read a lot of things, and now we have this, and we read a lot. Right?
Interesting. Okay, I'm about to put you on the spot, sir. What would you say is the best movie you have acted in so far, and why does that one stick out for you?
That spot is very funny because I don't consider anything best for me. It's the one I'm yet to do, but I'm hoping that to be my best.
You don't do favorites
because I don't want you to tell me that that was your best. That means I cannot be better than that one.
Yeah, but then people have emotional attachments to certain things, not necessarily because they're the best in quality, but it probably make them feel great.
Okay, my best is yet to come. That's the title of the movie, Yet to Come.
Nice punchline. That was great. The best is yet to come. And I'd like to see that movie. So, talking about what we were saving for later, right? So, what skills and competences, or abilities do you have and you are very proud of, but people do not really know about?
Well, like for instance, I'm a taekwondo person. I'm second and black belt in taekwondo. I was already a coach.
Wow, interesting. So what do you think about mixed martial arts? Do you follow mixed martial arts at all? Do you watch the UFC?
No, I don't really have time to do that. But taekwondo is the only thing I watch now. Taekwondo.
Oh,
I don't really watch. I don't have time for TV.
Oh, interesting. You are in TV. You are the TV. So you really don't have time to be watching to be watching.
But when I see taekwondo on TV, I watch once in a while.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I did taekwondo for a bit, in uni. And of course, for mixed martial arts, I am a pundit as well in mixed martial arts. So analyze the UFC. And interestingly, in episode 2 of this podcast, a former Bellator bantamweight champion was on this podcast. In episode 2. So I am quite active, in the world of mixed martial arts, and I contribute to the African Fighters podcast. So that's a big part of me, combat sports. And do you think martial arts is a good way of learning discipline for people?
Yes, I know that. Maybe taekwondo. That's the only one I know. I'm always very biased when it comes to. But it seems very.
But do you associate it with discipline?
It was something that, for instance, now, my coach would tell me I'm not allowed to fight anyhow because I'm a good fighter. Then the other thing is gives me confidence anywhere I go to. Because when you're afraid, it's something that can make you timid, and it might make you somebody that is not. You'll be able to fit in society very well. But as a taekwondo person, while I was in school, everything they were doing to me, I was not afraid of anybody. I saw the reason why I should not fight anybody, because I believe that I was trained to kill, defending myself alone, not to fight anybody. So you hardly find me fighting anybody. You hardly find me getting annoyed, because I know when you're annoyed, you can do what you're not supposed to do. Because I consider my punch and my kick more than a gun in my head. And so if I kick you, and you don't know how to kick me back, I'm taking advantage of the weapon I have in my hand. It's like somebody pointing a gun to somebody who does not have a gun. Like that's why I said I'm not supposed to be talking about our policemen when they shoot like don't let me use any language. You know, when they shoot
trigger happy individuals.
you know,
yeah. Trigger happy.
I say that they're not trained. If they were trained, you know that a gun that you have cannot be pointed at somebody who is not armed, except somebody that has been attested as an armed robber, whether the person has a gun or not. You should be ready for him. But when somebody is an individual, you don't need to bring out a gun. If you have a gun, you don't need to point at him yet until there's need for it. You know. So the training I had, maybe they should, all the policemen in Nigeria, they should take them to stadium or somewhere to learn martial arts so that they can train them very well.
Interesting. I have interviewed a number of fighters, and they have actually agreed to this thing I'm about to say. And of course, even Joe Rogan has said this in the past, right? That if the surest way of curing bullying in people is to teach the bully how to fight. And it sounds counterproductive or counterintuitive, right? But then they say it actually does work. That if you teach a bully how to fight, they will learn that they are powerful and not bully other people. Do you agree with that?
Yes, a bully in the first place. If you look at the trend of people that bully, most of them are afraid. They're just using what I call defense mechanism. They are big, but most of the time, when the person that is the advantage level fights back anytime, the bully runs away. Most of it.
So you feel they have a sense of insecurity.
Yes. So they are covering up before you get to know that they are insecure. They want to fight you and bully you. But when you now teach them how to fight, they are sure that they can fight, so they don't need to bully you again.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's what self-defense teaches you a lot. Okay, somebody wants to hit you, you just weave it and smile, and the person will know that this person is a fighter. If he comes again, you block in a way that the person will know that if this person punches me, it will go somewhere. So if I want to show somebody that, if I want to stop you from trying to attack me, I'll block you in a way that you will feel the blocking. The blocking is like a punch too.
Interesting. So, okay, I'll put you a bit on the spot. Like, what do you think is more important in the act of self-defense, skill or strength?
It's skill. What do you mean by that? Strength is it's your speed. It's your speed that's important. It's your speed that's important. Speed is bigger than strength. When you're very fast, the weight of your punch when you're fast is heavier than your strength.
So Conor McGregor, the biggest UFC star, he said he once said something. He said, "Precision beats power, and timing beats speed." Do you agree with that? Precision beats power, timing beats speed.
Yes, sir. For instance, now, Muhammad Ali was not a very strong person, so to say. He wasn't strong, like strength. He was just fast. You know that? And was knocking people down. It was fast. People that had more strength by physical strength that you see were fighting him, and he was beating them. He had speed.
And it was precise. He's offense with his striking.
He knows where he's going. He doesn't really block too much. He moves off your punch. He moves off your punch and is coming in at the same time. He doesn't move back. He moves in.
Interesting. You remember Rumble in the Jungle with George Foreman?
Haha. You know, all those things. Well, let's talk about something else, man.
Okay, so that leads me to the last question for you today. So, what advice do you have, for upcoming actors and young people in general?
Well, like I said, they have to be ready psychologically and mentally for
Mm,
what they're going into. They should understand the act of acting first. That means they should read and read and read and understand it. Study a lot of actors that have been there a long time ago. Not this setup. The people that were there before, what they went through, what they gave the society, and what they lived on by when they left and everything. And they should know that it's very important to be read. In anything you want to do, it's very important to be read.
mm,
Whether you're in that line, I read guidance and counseling, and I'm an actor. It's not compulsory for you to read theater arts. If you have the opportunity to read theater arts, you can read it. But don't just go and read theater arts because it's a dumping ground. It has to be something that you're sure that you're ready for. You know.
mm,
So an upcoming actor should know that the society is demanding so much from them, so much. If you do a lot of good, one wrong deed like this, they will talk about more than what you have done before. So you should know
mm,
that you're a role model. It's very important for you to be ready to be an honorable person, somebody whose attitude and character should be worthy of emulation and everything. It's very, very important. You should
mm,
be no human being is perfect, but you should try as much as possible to be able to affect people positively in everything you do.
mm.
Yeah,
Interesting
it's
words,
mental that it
wise,
is
wise words,
it's
wise, wise words from you. So, at the end of the pod, we have a
majorly I always
tradition.
say cut your coat according to your
Ah,
size.
oh wow, interesting, because a lot of people they overdo these days, and
Yeah,
it's really
so
sad.
I must know that a good name is better than it's not sweet in English. Orúkọ rere ó sàn ju wúrà òun fàdákà lọ.
Hmm. A good
Right
name
like
is
that.
better than
And
riches. A
in
good
in
name
the
is better
Yoruba,
than
the way
riches.
Yoruba said it is very sweet.
Yeah.
It's very deep and it has more meaning. A good name, a good name.
Hmm.
That's what
It's
they
more
say.
satisfying than
It's
gold
better
and
than
silver.
gold and silver. Wúrà òun
Hmm.
fàdákà, gold and silver. You know,
Hmm.
and gold and silver is not money now. Is what they call wealth. The Yorubas will
Hmm.
say Ola, Ola and Ola. It's not just money, it's wealth that you can leave for your children's children to the 30th generation. That's what they call
Hmm.
wealth. But a good name is better than that,
Hmm. A
you
good
know.
name is better than riches. Hmm.
So I'm
Wow.
just I'm particular about names, so everybody should know that. It's very important.
Hmm. Wow. So you're very big on integrity.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
better than anything.
Hmm.
Anywhere I
Interesting.
go now,
Yeah.
anywhere I go now, I'm so proud to be Fusho Adeolu. And my children can proudly say I'm Fusho Adeolu's son. You know?
Hmm. AKA finest.
So
Wow. So
yes,
at the end of the pod, we have
even
a
though God
tradition,
decided
right?
to- what?
You said what? I was trying to catch what you said, and then I was saying that at the end of the pod we have a tradition wherein you have a question from the previous guest, and then you leave a question for the next guest. Do you want to know what the question
Ah,
from the previous guest is? Are you
okay,
curious
I
enough to
should give
know?
the question for the next guest.
Yeah, okay, let me give you the question from the previous guest. So the person said, what would you like to do that will be meaningful in the lives of those around you this year?
Oh well, mine is just to be me, somebody whose character is worthy of emulation, somebody that people can say, um, I want to be with him, I want to be his friend, I want to have a good name.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I know that by if people see me like that, and they see that, okay, this guy is successful. He's not doing what other people are doing, and is still a star, and is still a legend, and people still reckon with him. Then I can be like him. Then it means I can be a good person and still be a star.
Basically, you want to be an inspiration to those around you, a positive
Yes,
inspiration.
yes, a positive one. Positive
Interesting.
one.
So, so what question would you like to leave for the next guest to answer? Let their work be cut out for them.
Okay, so with that person, what will he choose if they ask him to get to? They want to give him $50 million to sleep with another person's wife, or they will collect everything from his account to be a normal person, to say no to that.
Oh, that is a tough one. $50 million to sleep with someone else's spouse, or go back to square one.
Or say no and go back to square one.
Wow. Wow, that's a very, very, very tough one. But then, thank God I'm not the guest. Thank God I'm the host. And their work is cut out for them. At this point, I have a very, very big premium on gratitude. Like they say, an attitude of gratitude determines the magnitude of your altitude. So, from me to you, sir, it's a very, very big thank you for your time. Sparing time from your very, very busy schedule to grant this interview on the Kingdoms podcast. You are highly, highly appreciated. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless your family. Wish you very great things in 2024.
Amen. 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 I wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'll give you an opportunity. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody before we round up?
Well, to all the actors out there, I will encourage you to be a role model to people out there, and keep on doing it. And what we always say, break a leg.
Oh wow, yeah, the actor's line, break a leg. Oh, interested. Thank you once more. I will be ending the recording in a bit.